My first question would just kind of be around the moment. I mean, we've just gone GA. It's been a culmination of 4 years. So much has happened. Like, how are you feeling? What are the vibes?
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the things we talk about is that we're building a design tool for designers. And I think a core belief of Arcol is that these tools require deep craft. And so we put our money where our mouth is. We've been waiting for 4 years to ship this thing. Today, we're at really early stage, but the vision is the entirety of building this. We want to be the platform for where important decisions on buildings happen. My dad, he's an architect. I grew up in this industry. My earliest memories are sitting under his drawing table as a kid and watching this building come to life. And it was the most magical, beautiful experience. And I was a game developer for a while. I taught myself programming and kind of found myself back into building tools for our industry and realized that this industry I thought was magical and beautiful as a kid is fucking sucks. It's been left behind.
Yes, there have been big technological improvements. In the last 20 years, pretty much everybody's been doing the exact same thing, and it seems ripe and ready for big changes.
One of the things that really appealed to me about Arcol when I was first sort of interviewing and getting to know the team was just the caliber of the people. I mean, this is the kind of organization where world-class talent is super low ego about the way that they're able to build the most complex computational geometry and really just think about these really difficult problems that frankly no one's really been able to solve for so long.
I think the things that attracted me to Arcol, I mean, number one is the scope of the vision for the product. I think if you look at Arcol today, it is a great product that solves a specific problem for a specific group of people. And it is really just scratching the surface on unlocking modern collaboration for the physical construction industry.
What got me most excited about it is looking at the state of architecture and how building design actually gets made. It really hasn't had that step function. And I think it's one of those few industries that hasn't seen a huge step function change. I talk all the time about how embarrassing it is to look back. It's oh man, I have Figma wireframes and stuff from when I first started on Arcol. It's horrific. It's so bad. And so it's a typical startup journey, I think. And we tell everybody too, when we started, I joined and Arcol was a single web page that said Figma for BIM. And there was, I think when I joined, there was 6,000 people on the wait list or something like that. Just off that web page.
I think the biggest one for us is the idea that your design tool really shouldn't hold you back. And so if that's true, you should be able to model whatever you want to. And there are tools today that allow you to do that, but they're not built for our industry, so they don't have data attached, and more importantly, they're not collaborative.
Conceptual design for architects is a great first step, but there's just so much there. I was really attracted to the ambition of the vision and of what the product would be someday.
What we've been doing, and the clients love this, is being able to 3D print them out at 1 to 50 and print out the site on a piece of paper, and you basically lay it out on a table. And I think we even put magnets in the back, and you can pin the site up on the wall and stick these buildings to the site, and the client can actually move them around. But being able to do that digitally as well, phase it digitally, and also have the numbers there, that's also something that one of my principals or one of my head lead designers could do very quickly with the client and even send that back. But being able to get the client to understand it and say yes, sign on to it faster, that's a huge thing for us, especially with the way the markets are right now.
The process before was kind of in one platform do some modeling, go to the next one, recreate this. I should say this is a manual process in between each of these platforms, and that to me was inherently inefficient. That is just a horrendous amount of time, and that's frustrating. I think the thing I got worried about most is the amount of risk that's involved with manual translation of data between platforms and how easy it is to make a mistake. To me, there's not one platform that is currently doing many processes. The way that I kind of see Arcol coming in and functioning is It's doing like that core 20% or like maybe even higher of several platforms, but put it all together in one. So then it's an integrated process across it. There's potentially a lot of money that's based on these numbers that you're doing at that point. So the risk is having things accurate. Like the inefficiency is like a time-saving thing, and that's awesome. But accuracy and like confidence in your data and your views, I think that's like a very powerful thing.
I mean, there's just so much to learn, and I think it would be an incredibly boring opportunity if that wasn't the case. I mean, certainly there are just whole layers to the rendering, to the geometry, to the complexity of representing the whole physical world inside a tool like this. It's fundamentally a collaborative tool, but it's a collaborative tool between a very diverse set of stakeholders.
One time, a recruiter was trying to recruit me and said something like, there's a lot of really difficult UX challenges in the architecture space because there's a lot of existing tools that, you know, have been around for a long time. They do things a certain way, and kind of as a startup, it gives us a chance to kind of reinvent that a little bit. Mike and I have been working very hard to kind of make Arcol really like a first-class, a world-class experience for anyone who is either experienced or even seeing Arcol for the first time to be able to find their way around and to be able to do all the functions in the app. And hopefully they'll find it like very intuitive and very fun, and, you know, trying to get a little bit of joy into the workflow that maybe is kind of rare these days.
All of these tools are often single player and they're file based on a server somewhere, potentially someone's desktop, potentially they've left. Now we don't have access to these things anymore. I think inherently being on the browser is just collaborative. Like there's so many tools now that are available.
The construction industry is the most collaborative, global. You know, the construction industry is far more global and collaborative than it's ever been. Yet the tools we're forced to use are still shit. The value of building a collaborative tool is technically an Arcol. You could have somebody join, go build a model. You can have somebody join and go build the structure of the frame or the presentation, and somebody going and figure out the numbers. And so this process that was like data, numbers, model, or presentation becomes squished, and you can actually do stuff faster. And that's a new way to think about working at that early stage. And my hopes and dreams is that we take that concept of collaboration being a first-class citizen into the entirety of design. Because fundamentally that is how design works. Design isn't a single player thing, yet our tools force us to work that way.
There's a lot of kind of shared DNA with Figma being like a multiplayer. Collaboration really is the core of what we do, and working with other people is how you kind of create the best work.
I think culture is like a thing that constantly shifts. Today, some of the themes I would describe is like, we really deeply give a shit. Devs give a shit. If something doesn't feel right, they'll push back and, hey, this is not really the best way this product could have been designed.
Paul and I talked about it a lot in the early days.
Yeah.
And it's scary when you're a young company because it feels like you're making decisions that are just going to determine the culture from then forward. But I don't know. I kind of think culture it should be organic. It was always an ongoing discussion. Whenever we were hiring someone, it was always very much, are they a culture fit?
And we're definitely not the first to notice that something better can be built in the architecture space. But the thing that's really difficult about building an architecture tool, you need very strong generalist software engineers. You need experts in 3D graphics and computational geometry. And you need people who actually understand architecture so that you're building the right thing for your customers.
So ultimately, I look at my job as just being a good storyteller. And sometimes that storytelling comes in the fact of doing customer demos. Sometimes it's building out like our product onboarding experience or working on marketing emails or how we do events. So I kind of do a whole bunch of different things, but I really think it simplifies to what is Arcol doing? What are we trying to achieve? And how is it practical for people in their day-to-day right off the bat?
Like both my parents are architects, have been doing that for many decades. They are still very much pencil and paper. Some of that comes from their love of craft, and that being how they express their craft is with paper, with pencil, with cardboard models. But I also think it sort of speaks to the fact that like the tooling hasn't moved that much further beyond pencil and paper. And I think the idea of building a tool that still like honors that craft and lets people have that expressive power and eliminates all of the friction of, and now I need to share it with people. That's really exciting.
If you go ask architects or any other stakeholders, the way they collaborate is email and PDF. That is fucking nuts. Arcol really wants to be that like collaboration foundation for the entirety of the industry. And if your design tools natively live in the browser and are collaborative, we think the industry looks incredibly different. Collaboration is not just for the architect, it's for the entire industry. It's really important. The future of our industry does look different when the tools are far more accessible. I think about the future of Arcol, it is built for how the industry should work. We no longer talk about having a world-class team. We get to work with them every day. I'm super grateful and humble, and it's something that's changed pretty dramatically. I feel super lucky.
I think if someone picks up Arcol for the first time and they just feel like they've been there their whole life,
it's
been there all along, that's how we know we've made.
What I've really learned is that if we just spend a little bit of time to make architecture human, architecture can really be very inspiring. What we found is that people are actually really interested in architecture. They've just never been invited to architecture in a way that's interesting.
I think that's a lot of the reason why we rely on some of the big software companies to tell us what direction to go, is because we can't do it on our own. In some ways, they have more influence than what we have. So we realized we needed to do something, we needed to do it together.
Working hard doesn't really matter if it's on the wrong tasks or if it's on the wrong problems. I'm going to share with you some ideas, some thoughts, and some opinions on why choosing the right problems is more important than working hard, and why our industry needs to fix certain problems before others.
My job is to take rather dumb software by today's standards and try to modernize it and make it do intelligent things that we need it to do. BIM isn't dead, it just needs better redefinition. We need to make it fit the products and the market and the people and the clients better. Technology is meant to add purpose to our lives. It's meant to help us. It's not meant to hinder us. The whole point of technology is to improve the human condition. It should be self-evident what the product does to the user. We shouldn't have to sit someone down for like 2 weeks just to get them to understand the point of the product in the first place.
I want to thank you all for coming, all the speakers. This is great. These are conversations that want matters, and I'm super humbled you all came here today. This is awesome. Thank you all very much.